Welcome everybody. So I've decided I think I want to start a homestead. There's 3 beautiful acres on this property. Just over 2 of those acres are beautiful forests full of deer, turkeys, and other wildlife. It also has this huge, massive, beautiful shop, plenty of workspace in the inside. The remainder of the acreage is fairly open, but very overgrown. Lots of blackberries. And of course you can't forget the big, beautiful house and attached garage. So yes, I want to start a homestead on property that actually isn't mine. You see, I live over there. So this is actually my childhood home. My parents live here. And my dad has made one thing abundantly clear. And that is that he does not want a farm on his property. Are we done? Thanks. So naturally, I'm trying to figure out how to build one anyway. You know, respectfully. We did come up with some rules after talking with my parents, and they have agreed to let me try with some stipulations. Some of those rules are no big animals, nothing super loud, and they need to be out of sight. I am also limited on where I can have these animals. Aside from being out of sight, all of their forests, which is just over 2 acres, are completely off limits. They love their forests exactly how they are. They're a big fan of all the ferns and the natural look. That leaves us a limited area of clear spaces, such as the lower yard there, this little side area. And the one thing that most of those places have in common, very overgrown, with mostly blackberries. So with all that in mind, it was time for my ADHD brain to do some deep, obsessive research. I know most people always recommend starting with chickens, but honestly, I don't like chickens. And I also have the problem that the majority of the property that I can use, like I said, is all overgrown. Mostly blackberries, a lot of poison oak, a lot of poison ivy, and just weeds in general. Now, I know you're not supposed to start with goats. That's what everybody says. They're difficult, they're loud, they're escape artists, they're obnoxious, blah, blah, blah. But goats kind of make sense for me. Goats are gonna fix my problem of all of this unusable land that I'm given access to. They're gonna help clear everything that needs to be cleared so that I can eventually expand to other animals. So once I made the unwise decision to do goats first, the question became, well, which breed? Because I've got rules I have to follow. I currently live in the beautiful state of Oregon. And while it is beautiful here, it can get very wet. And we all know goats and dampness mean parasites. So the first thing I looked for were how hardy and parasite resistant these goats are. I needed to also look for goats that were typically easier to care for, since this would be my first animal. I needed goats that would do brush clearing well for me. But I also needed goats that weren't going to be huge and require extensive fencing and be escape artists and loud. After lots of research, like way too much ADHD fueled research, I had narrowed it down to 3 specific breeds. Number 1 being the Kiko, 2 the La Mancha, and 3 the Nigerian dwarf. Hi, are you helping? You a helpful kitty? So after I narrowed that list down, I have come to a conclusion of which goat I think will best suit my needs. And if you want to know which one I did pick, well, you're just gonna have to wait for the next video to find out when I go pick them up. In the meantime, on today's schedule, we have to get ready for goats. And because, like we've already discussed, most of this property is completely overgrown, I had to figure out a temporary place to put said goats while they clear brush so that we can make their more permanent home. So I present to you my temporary solution. Is it glamorous? No. Is it ideal? Also no. Will it work? Temporarily? Yes. This is my dog's 5x10 kennel. I am going to transform it temporarily into a goat enclosure. The goats we will be getting, we're only getting 2, and they will start off at about, I think they're going to be around 4-ish weeks old, so they're going to be bottle babies. So being in a 5x10 kennel, while not the most ideal thing in the world, isn't going to be the end of the world. I do have a very nice little dog loo that I will be cleaning up, which we will be doing in a little bit, for them to sleep in so they have extra shelter. I also still have to get this entire straw bale out of my car and into said dog kennel for them. Now I know it doesn't look like much. It's a mess. It's overgrown. But this is going to be the first area that I get the goats out to work in, as well as myself, as this is going to be where we're going to set up the goats' permanent enclosure. We are currently behind the shop, so it'll be out of sight, out of mind for my parents. We're a good distance from the house, which is way over there, so they won't be able to hear them. We're close to my trailer. It's nice and shaded back here. I think it's going to be a great place to set up their permanent enclosure. Is it going to be a lot of work? Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. But I think it's worth it. I've always wanted to do this, and I finally have the opportunity to try. So let's try. So let's get started. We got to get the dog's water out of here. We got to get their dog bed out. We got to get that dog loo washed. We got to get the straw out of the car. So let's get started. Well, that would have gone a lot quicker with the proper tools, but we work with what we got. So now that the dog loo is clean, time to set it out in the sun and move on to the next one. All right, I think it's time for a quick side quest. I don't know if you can hear, but the dogs are going a little crazy in the trailer. We got 4 of them. 2 of them are old and small, but the 2 big ones are young and full of energy. And they're saying, it's time to play some ball, Mom. It's time to play some ball. Guys can go absolutely forever, but I got a lot of stuff to do, so let's make this last throw, okay? Good girl, Calypso. Come here. Do not chase deer. Thank you. Come on, let's go inside. Good dogs. All right, now that those guys are all put up and exercised, at least a little bit, it's back to the grind. Next task is to put that in there. And since I am all alone and I have no cameraman, I just got my own 2 hands. We're just gonna do a little magic real quick. And just like that, there it is. All right, let's get this thing cut. Definitely need to add a pair of gloves to my list of things to get. And just like that, we have straw. Made it extra thick in the back there, especially inside, so they stay nice and warm. Still gets a teeny bit cold out at night here, down in the low 40s. Nothing too terribly bad. All right, next let's move in their water bucket, which we aren't going to fill yet, but we are going to set up. Obviously, since we don't want buckets on the ground for them to spill, we've got a rope here. I'm going to hang this sucker somewhere in this area where it's going to be well protected and close by for them to get it. So let's get it set up. All right, so I got that hung just a little bit off the ground there because these are going to be little guys and I want them to be able to easily reach that water. I do have a hay feeder, but we're going to wait to set that up until we actually get the little ones. So here's the experiment. Can I build a small homestead on property that isn't mine while following strict rules and dealing with a crazy ADHD brain that gets easily bored or burnt out? Follow along and find out with me.